Hi guys, I'm Kirtana from Simplilearn and welcome to this session on the top 10 IT jobs every company will be hiring for in 2021. At this point, we want to remind everyone watching that these jobs are not in any particular order and in our perspective are equally important. So, without any further ado, let's jump right into the first job role. Big Data Engineer. Big data represents a collection of large volumes of data which grows exponentially with the passing of time and cannot be stored with the help of traditional data management tools. That's where big data engineers come in. So, why should you become a big data engineer? According to Statista, an organization specializing in market and customer data, the global big data market is forecasted to grow to $103 billion by 2027, more than double its expected market size in 2018. Which means there's an abundance of opportunities available for you assuming you've got the right skills. Next, who is a big data engineer? A big data engineer is someone who develops, maintains, tests, and evaluates the big data infrastructure. The big data engineer takes into consideration data they can infer from the organization's big data and then can make decisions that can benefit and grow the organization. So, what are the skills you need to become a big data engineer? First off, programming. You will need to have hands-on experience with a programming language like Java, C++, or Python. Then, we have databases. You will need to have an understanding of database management softwares and SQL. With this, you have more clarity about how the data is managed and maintained. SQL will also help you write queries for relational database management software. For example, you have options like MySQL, Oracle, and so much more. Then, you need to be skilled with data warehousing and the ETL or extract, transform, and load process. One of the most important jobs of a big data engineer is to perform ETL operations. For this, you will need to know how you can construct and use a data warehouse. For this, you could use tools like Talend, IBM DataStage, Informatica, and so on. You will need to be experienced with Hadoop-based analytics. You will need to know about technologies like HDFS, MapReduce, Hive, and so on. Next, you will need to be skilled at Apache Spark. Experience with processing frameworks like Apache Spark will help you deal with big data, both batch and real-time processing. You will also need to understand the inner workings of the popular operating systems in the market like Windows and Linux to make the best use of them to achieve the business goals of the organization. Finally, you will need to be good at data mining and modeling. This can help pre-process and clean the data, find trend and patterns in the data, use it for analysis. Let's have a look at the average salaries of a big data engineer in India and the United States. According to Glassdoor, in India, a big data engineer can earn approximately 783,000 rupees per annum. In the United States, they can earn approximately $103,000 per annum. Next, let's go to our next job role, AI engineer. Artificial intelligence represents intelligence demonstrated by machines to perform tasks that are possible with only human intelligence. An artificial intelligence engineer makes it possible for a machine to do so. But why should you become an artificial intelligence engineer? According to research by the professional service firm PwC, an AI industry could be worth more than $15 trillion by 2030. 80% of emerging technologies will have AI foundations by 2021, which is a huge endorsement to anyone looking to start learning and growing in this domain. So, who is an AI engineer? An artificial intelligence engineer is someone who builds and tests AI models, taking advantage of machine learning and neural networks. With these models, they are able to gain greater insights and are able to enable the organization to take better informed decisions. They create AIs that are weak or strong depending on the goals that need to be achieved. So now, let's talk about the skills you'll need to become an AI engineer. First and foremost, it's programming skills. Like with just about every job role that you'll see in this video, some experience with programming is mandatory. You will need to know Python, R, Java, and C++, just to name a few. Then, you will need to know linear algebra, probability, and statistics. These concepts become really important for you to know when you're applying different algorithms like logistic regression, linear regression, or the naive Bayes method into your AI models. Then, you need to understand Spark and other big data technologies. Since your work usually involves terabytes and petabytes of data, Spark and other big data technologies like Spark, Hadoop, Cassandra, and MongoDB will help you make sense out of them. Next, algorithms and frameworks. An understanding of how different algorithms like KNN, naive Bayes, and others will help you implement them with ease. Moreover, to handle unstructured data, you will need to understand deep learning algorithms like convolutional and recurrent neural networks to implement them in a framework like PyTorch, Theano, TensorFlow, and so on. Finally, AI engineers must be able to use their problem-solving and communication skills to take care of any obstacles they may have in their path and to help people understand their products and ideas. So, what are the responsibilities of an AI engineer? An AI engineer converts AI or machine learning tools into application program interfaces, enabling other applications to use it. Models from the ground up and clearly communicates to the organization and stakeholders what they stand to achieve from it. They are responsible for infrastructure that performs data ingestion and transformation. They'll then need to find a way to automate this. AI engineers use statistical analysis to enable better decisions. They also will need to set up and manage the setting up as well as management of the AI development and product infrastructure. So now, let's talk about the salaries of an AI engineer. According to Glassdoor in India, an AI engineer can earn approximately 752,000 rupees per annum. In the United States, they can earn approximately $114,000 per annum. Now, let's move on to our next job role, Information Security Engineer. Information security refers to a collection of practices to ensure an organization's data is kept secure and protected from unauthorized access, misuse, disclosure, destruction, modification, and disruption. An information security engineer takes care of that. So, why should you become an information security engineer? According to Cybersecurity Ventures, a popular researcher in the field of cybersecurity says that the world will have 3.5 million unfulfilled cybersecurity jobs by the end of 2021, which means there's a world of opportunities for people with the right skills. So, who is an information security engineer? Information security engineers is someone who protects the organization from cyber threats like malwares, phishing, DDoS attacks, and so much more. They plan and carry out measures to protect the organization. So, how do you become an information security engineer? First off, you will need to be experienced with common programming languages like Java, C++, Perl, and so on. You'll also need some experience with assembly languages. Then, cybersecurity concepts. You will need to understand things like threat modeling, specifications, testing, vulnerability assessments, automating security tasks, how these can be implemented, security management practices, and much more. You will also need to have an understanding of different operating systems like Linux and Windows to determine how they can be taken advantage of and how you can make sure that doesn't happen. Soft skills are also very important to an information security engineer. To help stakeholders and the team understand problems they can face and to ensure they take care of it appropriately. So, what are the responsibilities of an information security engineer? First, to evaluate the security needs of the organization and to ensure the best practices and standards are followed. To design, implement, maintain, oversee, and upgrade security measures. Identifying all sorts of security issues and troubleshooting them. Regularly performing tests and scans to ensure networks and systems remain safe. Handling routine daily administrative tasks such as reporting and keeping open lines of communication with the organizations, appropriate departments, and much more. Now, let's talk about the salary of an information security engineer. According to Glassdoor in India, an information security engineer can earn approximately 697,000 rupees per annum. In the United States, they can earn approximately $99,000 per annum. Next up, we have data scientist. Data science is a collection of various tools, algorithms, and principles that enables the extraction of insights from data, both structured and unstructured. A data scientist works with such data. Why should you become a data scientist? According to Career Growth website, Dice Insights backend developer 16%, data scientist 11%, and software product manager 8% were high growth occupations from August to September, suggesting yet again that companies are beginning to reorient their focus towards longer term and larger projects that were perhaps put on hold during Q1 and Q2, indicating a resurgence in interest towards data science and data scientists. So, who is a data scientist? A data scientist is someone who combines the skills of a mathematician, scientist, statistician, and computer professional to handle large amounts of data. He or she then analyzes, processes, models, and interprets the data for the use of the organization. Let's now talk about the skills required to become a data scientist. First, you need knowledge regarding databases. This is important since these will help store and analyze data. You will need experience using tools like Oracle Database, MySQL, Teradata, and more. Then, you will need to know about statistics, probability, and mathematical analysis. These play an important role in helping you handle complex data. You will need experience with programming languages like R, Python, and SAS, since they play a very important role when performing data analysis. The languages also help when it comes to data wrangling. You will need to master machine learning concepts like linear and logistic regression, SVM, k-means clustering, and so on. You will also need to have knowledge of big data tools such as Apache Spark, Hadoop, Talon, and Tableau, which are used to deal with large and complex data which can't be dealt with using the traditional data processing software. And finally, experience with data visualization. This enables you to represent data using diagrams, charts, and graphs. Let's now talk about the responsibilities of a data scientist. A data scientist needs to be able to determine problems with data analytics and solutions for them, to identify data sources of value and automate the collection of data, cleaning as well as validating structured and unstructured data, ensuring the accuracy, completeness, and uniformity of data using machine learning algorithms to create predictive models, and then being able to visualize their findings in an understandable manner. Now, let's talk about the salary of a data scientist. According to Glassdoor in India, a data scientist can earn approximately 10 lakh rupees per annum. In the United States, they can earn approximately $113,000 per annum. Next up, we have the role full stack developer. Full stack development refers to the development of the front end, which is the client side, alongside the back end, which is the server side of a web application. A full stack developer deals with both the front end and the back end. So, why become a full stack developer? According to Statista, in 2021, IT spending on enterprise software is expected to amount to around $492 billion worldwide, a growth of 7.2% from the previous year, which means the opportunities for growth in the domain are just as high. So, who is a full stack developer? A full stack developer is someone who works on the front end as well as back end of a web application. Let's now find the skills required to be a full stack developer. First, you will need to be skilled with HTML and CSS. HTML enables you to add your content to the websites, while CSS can help you alter its look. Next, we have programming languages. You need to be skilled with JavaScript as well as other backend languages like SQL, C#, Python, and so on. An understanding of web storage and databases will help you deal with all the new data. You will also need to understand how to link a database to a backend language of your choosing. Then, you need experience with web architecture, structuring your code, separating and storing particular types of file, structuring data in databases, and other concepts are really important for you to know. An in-depth understanding of application protocols like HTTP as well as HTTPS can be hugely valuable for you. Let's now talk about the responsibilities of a full stack engineer. A full stack developer needs to be able to write code that's of high quality, which is well tested and devoid of issues. He or she needs to be able to develop databases, applications, and servers to design and develop APIs and RESTful services, and to create an attractive front-end infrastructure to attract an audience. Let's talk about the salary of a full stack engineer. According to Glassdoor in India, a full stack engineer can earn approximately 600,000 rupees per annum. In the United States, they can earn approximately $106,000 per annum. Let's now talk about how you can become a network architect. A computer network connects a group of computers, enabling them to communicate with each other. This network forms the bedrock of everything related to IT. A network architect sets up such a connection. So, who is a network architect? A network architect is someone who plays an important role in handling communication networks like LAN, WAN, and the intranet. They use their in-depth knowledge regarding the network to ensure its proper functioning. Let's now have a look at the skills required to become a network architect. First, it is to understand the different networking concepts. An understanding of different networks and architectures like WAN, LAN, and so on needs to be known to understand how they can be integrated into the system to satisfy business needs. Next, a network engineer needs to have an understanding of the tools that will enable them to set up a workflow and easily identify potential network problems. They'll need to be responsible for managing all the major aspects of the network, analyzing problems before they arise, troubleshooting them if they do, ensuring network safety, to develop automated functions, and much more. A network architect also needs to have some experience with project management, an understanding of project management concepts of budgeting and scheduling to ensure they are able to deliver advanced network solutions to organizations. As usual, an understanding of programming languages, methods for virtualization, and excellent communication skills are seen as hugely beneficial. Now, let's talk about the responsibilities of a network architect. A network architect designs, tests, and inspects communication systems. He or she is responsible for modeling the network, analyzing, and planning it. He or she maintains and administers computer networks and related environments. They analyze, engineer, and execute software functions and have to set up hardware like cables, routers, adapters, and so on. They'll need to regularly perform disaster recovery and make adjustments to ensure the network performance remains consistent. Let's now talk about the salary of a network architect. According to Glassdoor in India, a network architect can earn approximately 17 lakh rupees per annum. In the United States, they can earn approximately $84,000 per annum.
If getting your learning started is half the battle, what if you could do that for free? Visit SkillUp by Simplilearn. Click on the link in the description to know more.
Next up, we are going to talk about DevOps Engineer. DevOps combines the efforts of the operations and development teams to deliver services and applications at greater speed, helping products evolve and improve at a faster rate as compared to traditional software management methods. Why become a DevOps engineer? According to the DevOps Institute, 42% of global enterprises are applying DevOps at the project or multiple project level, which means they are looking for skilled individuals to take up that responsibility. An individual like a DevOps engineer. Let's now talk about who is a DevOps engineer. A DevOps engineer is someone who coordinates with both the development and the operations team in an organization, thanks to their deep understanding of the software lifecycle. He or she uses this collaboration between teams to oversee or facilitate product releases and perform deployments in the manner of continuous integration or deployment. Now, for the skills required to become a DevOps engineer, first, a DevOps engineer needs to have an understanding of scripting in languages like Python and Ruby, enabling you to provision and manage infrastructure. You will need experience handling DevOps tools like Chef, Ansible, and Puppet to ensure that the customer is able to gain value from the product at a fast pace and with greater quality. Next, to deliver products at such a fast pace, an understanding of continuous delivery and integration is mandatory. A DevOps engineer also needs soft skills to ensure you build an aura of trust, understanding, and camaraderie among the teams and their team members. You will also need to have an understanding for cloud computing since it provides a platform to test, deploy, and release code. Now, let's talk about what the responsibilities of a DevOps engineer are. Understanding the customer's requirements and the project's key performance indices. To implement different infrastructure for development, testing, automation tools, IT infrastructure, and so on. To manage stakeholders and external interfaces. Setting up the appropriate tools and infrastructure and to review, verify, and validate code developed in the project. To mentor and guide the team members and to measure customer experience and KPIs, and to the periodic reporting on progress and more. Let's talk about the salaries of a DevOps engineer. According to Glassdoor in India, a DevOps engineer can earn approximately 700,000 rupees per annum. In the United States, they can earn approximately $99,000 per annum. Next up, let's talk about cloud engineer. Cloud computing is the system of delivering computing services including servers, storage, databases, networking, and so on. A cloud computing engineer will help take advantage of these platforms. So why should you become a cloud engineer? According to Forrester, the market research company, the global public cloud infrastructure market will grow 35% to $120 billion in 2021. And with the right skills, you can make the most of this growth by becoming a cloud engineer. So, who is a cloud engineer? A cloud engineer is responsible for handling the many technological aspects of cloud computing, including design, planning, maintenance, and support. Let's talk about the skills required to become a cloud engineer. First off, you will need to have experience with cloud computing platforms, be it AWS, Azure, or the Google Cloud Platform. You can also learn about these certifications with the help of certifications you can find across the internet. If you're interested, you can check out our cloud computing full course by clicking on the top right corner. Next, you need to have experience with at least one programming language like C, C++, Python, Java, and so on. And finally, you will need to specialize in some of the services offered by the cloud computing platform like storage and networking, security and disaster recovery, web services, and so much more. Now, let's talk about the responsibilities of a cloud engineer. A cloud engineer needs to collaborate with other teams to determine the optimal cloud solutions, to plan, design, and develop cloud applications, to deploy and debug new cloud initiatives, to manage cloud environments according to the security guidelines of the organization, to make sure the application's performance, uptime, and scale have to maintain the high standards of the code, to define and document the best practices and strategies for application deployment as well as infrastructure maintenance and much more. Next, let's talk about the salary of a cloud engineer. According to Glassdoor, in India, a cloud engineer can earn approximately 544,000 rupees per annum. In the United States, they can earn approximately $111,000 per annum. Now let's talk about the job role Robotics Engineer. Robotics refers to a collaboration of science, engineering, and technology to enable the use of machines to do things that humans cannot or are not willing to do. A robotics engineer thrives in this field. Why should you become a robotics engineer? According to Statista, the market demand of advanced robotics in the manufacturing industry is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 46% over the next 4 years to reach $3.7 billion by 2021. Now that we know the potential of this field, let's ask the question, who is a robotics engineer? A robotics engineer is someone who creates robots to fulfill a particular need. These needs are usually things that humans cannot do by themselves or aren't willing to do so. So, what are the skills required to become a robotics engineer? First, you will need programming skills in JavaScript, Python, C or C++, Java, and much more. A clear understanding of languages will help you set up interactions with hardware, electronics, and the real world with ease. You will need to be good at math and science, algebra, calculus, geometry, physics, applied mathematics, and more to make sure to help create equations and formulas to help your robot move and so on. You will need experience with microprocessors since they act as the necessary components to create prototypes. And you will need experience working with sensors since they are used to observe the environments around the robot. Being experienced with machine learning algorithms also can be extremely useful for you. Now, let's talk about the responsibilities of a robotics engineer. A robotics engineer designs, builds, tests, and maintains prototypes. You will need to design systems to control robot systems, analyze and evaluate robot prototypes, to perform integration tests and quality control, applying appropriate machine learning techniques, and much more. Next up, we have the salary of a robotics engineer. According to Glassdoor, in India, a robotics engineer can earn approximately 364,000 rupees per annum. In the United States, they can earn approximately $75,000 per annum. Finally, we have the blockchain developer. Blockchain refers to a system that enables the recording of information in a way that's impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. It is a ledger of transactions that's distributed across the network on the blockchain. A blockchain developer sets up and takes advantage of this system. So, why should you become a blockchain developer? According to Globe News Network, the global blockchain market size to grow at a CAGR rate of over 69% between 2019 to 2025. Now, let's find out who is a blockchain developer. A blockchain developer designs, implements, and supports a blockchain network and distributed applications. Now, let's talk about how to become a blockchain developer. First, you will need to be well versed with programming languages like Java, C++, JavaScript, Go, Python, and so on. These languages can be used for coding and to create web apps. You will need to understand the fundamentals of object-oriented programming as well as data structures like stack, linked list, queue, and so on. You will also need to have knowledge regarding web app development, enabling you to create web and mobile apps based on blockchain technology. You will need to have experience with flat and relational databases since the basis of the entire blockchain system exists thanks to these concepts. Experience with networking can also be highly beneficial for you. Now, let's talk about the responsibilities of a blockchain developer. You will need to design the blockchain protocols. You will need to design the network architecture that can be used for the centralizing or decentralizing the data. You are in charge of backend development according to the blockchain protocols and developing the front-end designs according to client requirements, and much more. Let's now talk about the salary of the blockchain developer. According to Glassdoor in India, a blockchain developer can earn approximately 783,000 rupees per annum. In the United States, they can earn approximately $72,000 per annum. And there you go, that's our list. We've now reached the end of this video. Think we've missed anything important? Let us know in the comment section below. Do not forget to subscribe. Click on the bell icon to never miss an update on Simplilearn.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.